Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by Ghostbed.com.
What is up? Welcome to the fake news. I am your host, Rob Fox. I'm joined, as always, by Dan Holloway, and we have some, unfortunately, not fake news to talk about today.
Well, it's not unfortunate, necessarily.
Actually, a lot of it's funny.
Yeah, first and foremost, we're doing the Christmas drive thing again this year. We're going to do a little bit differently because it was kind of a logistical shit show last year. So what we're going to do this year is we're going to set it up so that you dicks who can buy Amazon gift cards, and then if you have children that need presents, build an Amazon wish list, and then we'll use the gift cards to buy them. That seems like to be the Brittany did some research, and that seems to be the best way to do it without involving any of these fundraising accounts that delay the funding and shit like that, and then take a percentage of it and all that bullshit. So we're going to do that. In addition to that, I just want to remind everybody that currently, if you go to drinkinbros.com/store, everything that's on the site, we don't have the apparel on there right now, but hats, mugs, stickers, keychains, all sorts of shit is on there. I think there's some little mini coolers as well still available. Everything is 50% off until Sunday if you use the code HALFLIT50. We're getting rid of all that stuff because we're changing some vendors up and blah, blah, blah. Right?
Just a little house cleaning, getting better merch.
Yeah.
It'll be the same stuff, a lot of it. Like, you'll still be selling APAC and...
None of the logos,
yeah.
None of the artwork will change. And we're adding some more stuff, and it'll be better. Yeah. So that house cleaning out of the way. Here's some more house cleaning. Speaking of house cleaning, this young man seems to have cleaned house and rid the world of a couple of shitbags. Some quick Rittenhouse updates. The jury is still deliberating at this time. It's 2:06 p.m. Central, Thursday, November 8th. They've, again, yesterday, I think they requested more information from the judge.
Are they in 24, 30 hours of deliberation right now? Something like that?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. So we've had reports from federal marshals that there were two jurors specifically that reported being intimidated, and they were holding up the verdict. That was the report. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that two alternates were selected, right? I think yesterday.
Okay.
So,
because there was, if people don't know, there's 12 jurors.
There's 18 total jurors that watched the case, and then he picked. The defense was able to pick ping pong ball lottery style, which ones actually got to adjudicate the case, and then the other 6 to stand by and wait, and 2 more it seems like had been selected. So it would be the way that information came out, where Tuesday, late in the day Tuesday, there was a report that 2 jurors were saying they were worried about riots, so they didn't want to give their verdict, and then 2 new people were picked. That seems like an awful, crazy coincidence, to be honest.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, we don't know why they did that, but that seems pretty obvious, right? What the fuck's going on there?
What, they were afraid someone was gonna find their home address situation, and
yeah, or they didn't want to do anything because they were worried about the implications. I mean, all of the schools, the entire school district in Kenosha has gone back to distance learning for the time being because they're afraid of riots.
Yeah.
Businesses, I don't think are closing, but the National Guard there's 500 National Guardsmen close by. Some other bullshit. The city's preparing for riots right now. I know that people on the right see that and say, well, this is probably going to go the way we want it to go, meaning the case.
Right.
But the reality of the situation is that the city of Kenosha and the federal government are allowing domestic terrorism to happen, right? Like people are trying to change a political outcome using violence. That's literally the definition of terrorism. Right. For the last 2 years, 3 or 4 years actually, we've been told that the number one threat to the United States is white supremacy. Now, I would love to see a price tag on that because I know $2 billion worth of damage last summer alone was done by BLM and Antifa. Not sure how much was done by white supremacists, to be honest.
Right.
And here's what I do know. If any damage was done by white supremacists, what you won't see are members of Congress or, I don't know, the vice president, for example, bailing them out of jail. Because she bailed Antifa and BLM people out of jail after they fucked shit up all over the place, right, throughout the Pacific Northwest and Minneapolis. So, whatever. And then that goes to this other part. I mean, Rogan's been talking about it a lot more lately, even more so than he usually does. And it's about...
About Rittenhouse?
Well, no, about media bias.
Oh, yeah.
And how the media, like you expect the media to be, like human beings are biased to some degree, right? So there's going to be some bias. It's just weird that the bias always happens on one side. Mm-hmm. It's like you never see a mainstream media coordinated effort to make something conservative look better.
I don't think it's as weird as you think it is.
Weird? What do you mean? What
that the media largely leans left, or that most media figures lean left.
Oh no, of course not. Because
first off, I mean, we talk about like like when you talk about shit like the wage gap,
yeah,
right, and how it's like, well, guess what? Fucking women tend to choose certain jobs even when X, Y, and Z.
And Northern Europe is proof of that. If you haven't heard Jordan Peterson's explanation on this, it's not an explanation. It's not. He just delivers the information, and that is in Northern Europe where. The idea of gender equality has been reached to the most effective degree it can.
Yeah.
Women still fill most of the nursing and psychiatry jobs, and men still do most of the finance and manufacturing jobs.
Right.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, all of a sudden, the last 120 years or so of dipshit fucking sociology is challenging the fucking nature of reality from 500 million years of human evolution. Who would have guessed that they would have been wrong about that? Who would have guessed that some fucking turd named Michel Foucault sitting in his fucking lap of luxury like, oh, man, people must be struggling out there. Let me find out a way to fucking identify their struggle. Shut the fuck up, dude. Anyways.
Yeah, you tend to, like, get... Journalism isn't quite, like, creativity the way, like, the arts are, but you tend to still get those types of people in journal. It doesn't help that journalism schools...
Are like indoctrination factories, yeah.
Even before that, before you get to that, they literally, I remember this all the time when I was in college. Like I went to Mizzou, it's an incredible journalism school. It's like a top 5 journalism school in the country. And I remember all these like, some of the lamer journalism students I knew would be like, it's just so fun to like learn what it's like to be a storyteller for society and stuff like that. And that's like the type of fucking people you get.
Yeah, it's pussies.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, they're pussies.
And it's people who consider themselves not necessarily artists per se, but it's still a sort of like softer, more creative leaning type of person is going to go into something that describes them as a storyteller.
There's style and prose, even to delivering just the basic factual information. You need those things for context.
Yeah.
What you don't need is to work your way around reality.
Yes.
To explain shit, and that's where we've arrived there today.
That's where the separation comes from. But I've said this all the time to other people when they're like, so many fucking lefties in it, and I was like, I mean, that's a job that is going to inherently attract more left-wing people. You would also just essentially hope that it would attract ethical people or something, or honest people. But they're always, even when they're honest, if you want like an honest journalist, they're probably going to lean left.
Yeah, to some degree, right? And that's a problem. But you see these journalists now, people like Max Chafkin, who we had on recently, people like Michael Schellenberg, who we had on recently, who are looking around and they're like, nothing you guys are saying is true.
Right.
Maybe like Woodward and Bernstein were the paragon of fucking journalistic integrity, and now they're putting third-hand information into a book trying to assassinate the character of our former president.
Right.
Right? I mean, look, Trump is a fucking greedy old white billionaire piece of shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Of course, he's a fucking reality TV star. Of course he's a fucking retard. Right. Everybody knows that. But if there's evidence that Trump colluded with a foreign government, I haven't seen it yet, and they've been trying to show us fucking 6 years now that there was. or 5 years rather. And we've seen a number of not just smoking guns, but open wildfires, like Obama weaponizing the CIA to investigate the campaign of a presidency, right? And then then use it in his lame duck period to investigate the incoming president. You should be fucking put in prison for the remainder of your life for that. Like, that is a direct assault on democracy. But anyways, MSNBC got kicked out of the fucking courtroom in the Rittenhouse trial. That's why I brought up the media. And the interesting thing is why. Now, I don't expect that the powers that be at MSNBC they definitely can't control every single freelancer. And this guy, James J. Morrison, was indeed a freelancer operating under the supervision of Irene Bayan, who is one of the embassy managers in New York. Now, this man was following the bus carrying the jury back to their quarters after deliberation. Mm-hmm. Runs a red light to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Give me some explanation why that makes any kind of sense, other than they're trying to intimidate or out these people.
The only other explanation I could think of, and I'm not disparaging that one or like denying that one or whatever. The only other explanation that there possibly is that they're just it's basically a Nightcrawler situation. They just need to, like, he just needs good footage of anything, and will do anything to get it, because these people are also clout chasers, and if he gets a picture that's going to get MSNBC a million retweets and shit like that, that makes him more money, that gets him more shit, and they have no ethics, and they'll do whatever. Like, it's kind of like the Hanlon's razor thing, right? Like, don't ascribe malice to incompetence, essentially.
Yeah, but there's a limit. I mean, if you're striking matches and throw it at a fucking open gas can and people are standing around,
right,
then you assume some responsibility for your actions.
No, I totally agree.
And if you're taking pictures of people that are already being intimidated, like we talked about just a few minutes ago, you're trying to take pictures of them or video of them to put it on the internet and expose who they are, then now we got a problem, right?
Yeah, and honestly, it gets to the point where, like, I don't really care about the why. I care about the what. So, like, whatever his intentions were, it doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, that is, whether you're just being, like, a whore for your job, like, doing anything you can to get any fucking thing that you think will help you.
Yeah.
Or you're literally doing it because you're like, people need to know who these people are.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter in the end. But the funny part is, I actually kind of want to watch MSNBC today and see how they're covering this.
I know.
Look on their website. I'm sure Rachel Maddow is fucking...
Wait, she didn't have a show anymore.
Yeah, but she's still...
Is she still on there?
She does her podcast.
Oh, okay.
They're paying her like $40 million a year to not
podcast.
do her show.
Right.
Basically. Which won't work in the end, by the way. The left tried to follow the right into AM radio. Didn't work. And this won't work either. Let's see. I'm just looking on MSNBC's front page.
Just subsidized it with NPR, though, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. NPR, who, by the way, is not too thrilled about the new mayor of Boston.
That kind of feeds into the story we're going to get into next in a little bit, but, like, it's essentially, it's just like, I mean, it's you just, what were we were joking the other day off camera or whatever, it's just like, everyone's white. Like, more and more people are white if it suits the narrative, essentially.
There's this Russian bill. It's 400 something. I don't remember exactly what it is. I've talked about it before, but it basically criminalizes everything, and then you selectively apply the thing. You set up this when you set up these hierarchies that Foucault wanted, right? That Marx originally wanted, but that Foucault expanded upon. You just have everybody is broken down by characteristic, right? Age, race, gender, fucking sexuality, butthole shape and size, I guess. I don't fucking know.
And color.
The butthole color, yeah, that's a big thing. If you're born with a naturally light butthole, then you're privileged. That's white butthole privilege.
Right. If you're packing a snowflake.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, if you do that, you rank everybody, then you assign each one of those things certain levels of oppression, right?
Right.
And then you show up and you fill out your scorecard. So here's my oppression. And And now this is one of the funniest things. I wasn't even going to bring this up today because it's so fucking stupid, but you can't stop laughing about it.
I was like giggling last night constantly.
I mean, this is the ultimate fruition of this retardation. So
yeah.
The entire Democratic apparatus is crumbling around them right now. You know, a Quinnipiac poll, by the way, which is one of the higher ranked polls, even by 538.
Yeah,
right.
It is.
Quinnipiac is an A- poll.
Yeah,
yeah.
Does it lean right? I can't remember which one's which.
Sometimes, I guess it depends on the individual poll.
Yeah, but they do rank it about as high as you can rank.
Yeah, it is one of the more accurate polls in the nation. Biden's new approval rating 36%. Right, you're approaching Trump at his worst now.
Right,
and the anti-Trump stuff wasn't based on. Hold on, top countries by Muslim popular. We're gonna do a little fucking experiment right here.
Okay.
Countries in Trump.
I would assume I think Indonesia is the most populous Muslim country.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah. So here, one of the main sources of the unpopularity of Trump, one of the reasons that he had such a low approval rating in his first year, was because of the so-called Muslim ban, right? Which put a hold on and then put more stringent restrictions on immigration or even travel from Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. That's 7, right? Mm-hmm. So Indonesia, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nigeria, and Egypt. All of those countries come in before the first country on the quote-unquote Muslim ban
right.
in population, and that the first one is Iran, right? And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody is at least somewhat suspicious of Iran.
Right.
And then after that, it's Turkey and Algeria. Only 2 of the countries involved in the so-called Muslim ban rank in the top 10 in Muslim population
right.
on Earth, right? So it's so frustrating where you can just look this shit up. It's extremely frustrating to me where I think it was like maybe 7% of the Muslim world lives in those other 7 countries, or
right.
11% maybe. And the vast majority of Muslims nationwide, including the ones in our own country, by the way, who live here freely and without any fucking problems,
yeah,
were affected by this in any way. But that was the main source. If you look back in the polling, that was the main source of the general dislike of him. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even real. Inflation is real.
Right.
You go to a gas pump and try to buy shit online, those things are real. There's an immediate effect on your personal life from that. So when I look at the polls here, and it shows Biden's approval rating is 36%, that means people, because it was 54%, like right before Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Then it went down, and it's never coming back up, probably, right? What you see is incompetence and American death, and then more incompetence, and then a denial of that incompetence. And it just keeps going down. These are real factors that are causing this, not some made-up fucking mainstream media bullshit. That's all I'll say about that. I just think it's important to know what fucking reality is. Excuse me. But this one is funny. So walk us through this, because I think this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I hate, don't say any of the kids' names.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give them any fucking credit. No, fuck these people. They're assholes. I just don't want to give them any press. But this shit is fucking really funny.
So the DNC is essentially looking into completely severing itself or severing all ties from the college Democrats, because the college Democrats, and I don't know what's the more active word in that label, to be honest, are doing exactly what you would expect out of college Democrats. Mm-hmm. They're having like a full-on, essentially like racial identity implosion, and it's all from exactly what you would think it is, which is like dumb tweets from when kids were 13. Mm-hmm. So the College Democrats of America, which is College Democrats, whatever, and this is the DNC's like feeder organization, right? Like this is their minor leagues.
Yeah.
This is where the staffers of tomorrow, and by staffers of tomorrow, I mean almost literally tomorrow,
Like that dum-dum that's like clicking his nails and running around the White House in a dress. that dude.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
I mean, like these people are going to be or at least they hope that they will be working for prominent Democrats on like state and probably national levels very soon. Maybe within the next 6 months as interns or something before they get into even, bigger shit like actual paycheck jobs, whatever. Yeah, so they are having a bit of an issue, and they want to get potentially sever ties with all 500 chapters across the country because of these kids, and they're essentially eating themselves. So the current vice president of the National College Democrats is a Muslim girl who launched an investigation resulting in someone being canceled for some old tweets. And now she is being canceled for some old tweets herself. So someone else was running. I don't know if it was for the same position or not. I don't remember. I read this story last night. It was a little.
I think it was the president that had to step down.
I think it was a candidate for president.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah.
And he had to step down for. They didn't even say what the tweets were exactly, but it sounded. The first thing that came to mind was rap lyric. Like that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was massively pressured. These tweets circulated through all the upper echelon group texts of college Democrats and shit like that. And everyone was like, who needs to be canceled, blah, blah, blah. He stepped down, and I think he was potentially Muslim as well. Or he was Middle Eastern or something.
He's Muslim, yeah.
Yeah, so he stepped down and was like, it was wrong. I was being a bad person, even though he was like fucking 13 or something like that. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, you live with a 13-year-old, right? Like, does that person make fucking decisions that even make sense ever?
No.
Right.
Nope, they're dumb.
Yeah. So anyway, he resigned, but then was like, this doesn't invalidate the work that I'm doing, which is just, God damn it. Like,
the idea that you think you're doing fucking work that's changing the world in college, like, I get it, man. There's a lot of cocaine around. I get it. But you're not doing shit, you stupid motherfucker. Unless you're creating Facebook, you're not doing shit in college that actually matters. I promise you that.
Right. I mean, maybe maybe he's doing some, like, charity work. Like, literally, like, he's a part of an organization raising a couple grand for, like, a local soup kitchen or something.
Yeah, maybe.
That's fine. But probably not. That's probably not the case. He's probably just going to protest or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're fighting the power, man.
We did it.
Which power are you fighting? The one that you're trying to leverage against people you don't like so they have to get, so they're mandated to put something into their body that they want? Is that the power that you're fighting for? Like when it's interesting how the left has gone from I'm fighting the power, right? Or, let's fight the power, to let's fight for the power.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it was always about. I mean, that's the theory about socialists is that they don't like poor people, they just hate rich people, right?
Right.
And that's the thing about the journalist class as well. I was talking to somebody about it this morning, and his view, and he's a very learned man that's in the middle of a lot of fucking bullshit right now. Has nothing to do with him. He does actual work, and he's like, I think these journalists, there's like a whole subsect of journalism where it's just fucking, if you can't teach kind of situation, like they couldn't actually accomplish anything in their lives, so they spend, like Samuel Tarley's dad said, writing about better men, or reading about better men, or whatever it is, right? These people are fucking losers, frankly. You're a fucking loser. If you're sitting around talking about what other people are doing and you're not doing something yourself, like building a business or something like that, then that's kind of...
I think it's the kind of thing... it kind of reminds me of the critique of, like, critics wish they were filmmakers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and like, food critics... I don't even know what the fuck that means. like they were born... Oh, I was born with special taste buds, man. Hell yeah. Like, shut the fuck up, loser. Anyways, this is the dumbest shit of all time. It's so funny. You're just watching these... So these kids are they're not invested enough in the infrastructure yet to hide this stuff, but this is what happens behind the scenes all the time, right?
Right.
The left always tears itself apart like this.
Eats itself.
Yeah. It has to. It has to, because you set a moving goalpost and you allow the individual involved in the situation to define the rules. That is not how life works, motherfucker. Like if you and I are playing a football game, but both of us got to make up the rules as we went, no one would ever win. Yeah. We would just lose
Well, it reminds me of like playing with a 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And like you're playing tag with a 5-year-old, and then you get him because he's 5 or something, and then they're like, no, this corner is a safe spot. Like I don't mean to make a safe space joke, but like this corner is home base. Actually, I can't be tagged here, and it's just like that just keeps happening.
Yeah.
And when they're 5, you don't really fucking care. But
Here's what. So the original dude that was running, Muslim, said, probably quoted some rap lyrics or something when he was 15.
That's the vibe I got.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm embarrassed, but I'm going to go away now. And the woman, and she was head of the IDEA part, which is inclusion, diversity, equity, and access.
Right.
That's a new thing that exists. Oh, I when I first read that, I pictured some fucking pussy wearing a turtleneck sitting in his house, right? Mm-hmm. Probably sipping white wine or something.
So just Foucault again?
Yeah, basically. And he came up with this again. He came up with this in his head. Oh, what's a good thing for idea? Oh. And then when he got to access, oh my God. Oh my God. Just fucking came all over his own fucking face. Real clever, asshole. You're the first one to do anyways, I'm getting pissed off. So he's gone. The woman that's the head of IDEA, she steps up, runs for Veep, wins, and now there's an investigation into her.
Old tweets.
From a tweet when she was 13 years old.
Right.
And she, by the way, had just moved here from North Africa.
Right.
Wasn't a native English speaker, and used a phrase for Jews that some people in some places feel is a slur, I guess.
Right.
Like it's not one that's in common usage, that's for sure. Right?
I'd never seen that word before.
I've never heard of it before, and
Yeah.
I've studied religion for fucking 30 years. I've never heard that word before.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not real. I'm just saying it's not something that a fucking 13-year-old who had just immigrated to the U.S. from Africa would even be aware of.
Right.
Like that it was offensive. So anyways, now she's in trouble, but now CARE, right? Mm-hmm. And some of these, so the ADL and Jewish Defense League as well are fucking involved in this shit now.
Yeah.
National level organizations.
For college kids.
Right? Organizations who basically protect Jews and Muslims from getting their feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Right? CARE came to prominence when this organization, this nonprofit, wanted to build a mosque at the 9/11 site.
Yeah.
That might be in poor taste, to be honest, dude. I mean, I don't know exactly what to say about it, but definitely in poor taste. Yeah, it was definitely in poor taste. And then CARE is defending it like, what are you saying? There's something wrong with Muslims? I'm like, no, Muslims knocked this building down, so we're not going to give them a fucking monument. Right. Motherfucker. It's no offense, but get the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't want to necessarily open a church next to an abortion clinic that just got shot up by some lunatic Christian. Right?
Yeah, imagine imagine Eric Rudolph burning down a fucking abortion clinic and then building a church into the site. Like,
right.
What the fuck? Anyways, these people basically protect adults from getting their feelings hurt. That's what these things do.
It's important work. And
I
I don't want to invalidate their work.
These are national organizations. The DNC is a national organization, and they are mired in dumbass 18 to 20-year-old college student fucking drama bullshit. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's bananas. So she, I think, said, well, what'd she say? Everything I say is torn to shreds. I can't just make a tweet about pop culture without it being ripped apart for underlying messages and hidden meanings.
Welcome to fucking Earth, bitch. Like, this is the fucking environment you created.
Yeah, I would say this is the world you made.
Jesus
and the world
Christ.
you asked for.
Yeah, you idiots want to live in a world where lived experience passes for evidence, right? Where there's no nuance, there's no objectivity or reasonable standard, because moving the goalposts is the only way you can win, because winning is the point. Not getting it right, but winning the argument is the point, right? Well, guess what, fuckface? You're living in that world now.
And
Enjoy it.
This goes right back into the Kyle Rittenhouse trial in a way, because what this girl is experiencing, this woman is experiencing, is essentially the lack of objectivity, the lack of like a fair trial, the lack of justice for that she was fine giving other people, right? The same way all these people pointing at,
I'm one of the good ones.
Yeah, the same way these people pointing at the Rittenhouse trial. I always think like that, even long before that. I was like, well, I hope you get better, like, reasonable doubt than you ask for if you're ever on the stand. You know what I mean? Like, I hope you get a fairer shake than the one you're asking for this person to not get, essentially. So, I mean, that's what she's living in now. And, yeah, these people are going to be running for office in 5 years.
Can't wait. It's the next, I mean, imagine how crazy AOC is. Or don't imagine. You can fucking look at it every single day. Think about how crazy AOC is. And then map that fucking 8 years from now.
Right.
And this is exactly what you're getting. It's going to be a bunch of them.
Yeah. What's interesting about this, too, is this is essentially like there's a hole in the line. Like a hole is opened up for the offensive line. And Derrick Henry can run right through it. And the Derrick Henry in this scenario is there's two people, essentially. Republicans and any sort of moderate Democrat.
Yeah.
The only thing standing in the way is like a skinny little cornerback. All they have to do is decide to truck that cornerback, and they're off to the races. Someone just has to have the balls to not give a fuck about these people.
Yeah, I mean, it would be that was the hope, I think, of most Democratic voters. They were like, Joe Biden's not going to allow this shit.
That was certainly my hope.
He's an old school blue dog Democrat in a lot of ways. He's been pro-gun for most of his tenure. Blah blah blah. He's not one of these woke people. Well, yeah, he is actually, or he's not really. He's just a coward. I mean, this is the same thing we've seen from the left for the last 100 and so years. I
think he reads what he thinks the terrain is.
Maybe, but the left was able to be relatively easily convinced by corporate influence to maintain Jim Crow laws and to start the KKK and things like that, right? Like
is that the left or is that Democrats? Because
what's the difference?
I mean, Lincoln was a Republican. I wouldn't exactly call him conservative, to quote .com, paraphrase.com.
How do you figure that?
I mean, not very socially conservative, and obviously fighting a giant war to.
Yeah, but I don't think that a modern conservative would be willing to fight a war over states' rights necessarily, right? I also don't think that a conservative could possibly be in favor of slavery, like
a modern one.
Any conservative ever, like the founders of the country wrote at great lengths about the evils of slavery, even though they owned slaves,
right?
But that means something really important. It means that the idea is more important than what's happening right now. And conservatism, as it is, the idea of individual liberty has persisted in conservatism forever. So I think I disagree with .com in this scenario. I think it wasn't about state and federal rights necessarily. It was, I mean, one about keeping the country together, maybe that's part of it. But if you read the letters between Lincoln and his gay lover, he fucking hated slavery. One of his best friends is the guy, in real life, was the guy that Tommy Lee Jones played that had a fucking secret black wife. Right? So they hated this shit. And it's just incompatible with conservatism. So I think that the left's, when we say liberalism, I'm not talking about classical liberalism. I'm talking about the feminine side of politics where there's more empathy is obviously going to be able to be tricked more easily.
I'd agree with that.
Right? That's just how that works. And they have been tricked a number of times. They've been tricked into treating welfare as if it's a fucking a treatment for disease, and it's not. Right? It's a fucking helping hand to get back up on your feet, and that's it. Northern Europe figured that shit out 100 years ago. So, man.
I'm not saying that it's one way or the other, because like Thomas Jefferson owned a shit ton of slaves, and he was a wildly liberal person.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you watch like the end of John Adams when he's just getting like bananas liberal.
Well, he was wildly liberal, but he was also pretty. He was. I would say he's more libertarian than liberal, probably. Right. I mean, he was pretty set on not having a strong central government.
Yeah. For sure, but he was. I would say very like.
Socially liberal.
Socially liberal.
But libertarians are socially liberal.
Right.
I don't know. At any rate.
I just have a hard time defining anything left or right, basically like in modern terms, like pre-1960, basically.
Well, the tenets of conservatism haven't changed. The execution, neoconservatism is not conservatism at all. They expanded over the largest expansion of the federal government in history. So that's not conservatism. Conservatism is we're going to try to spend the least amount of money. We're going to have strong defense, but we're going to spend the least amount of money, and we're going to the states and the individual have rights.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the underlying premise there. I just don't think you're seeing it now. You're seeing that the empathic side of the political spectrum can be swayed very, very easily.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Very, not even just swayed maybe, but controlled directly.
Right.
Republicans have, I think, a little bit more of a wild streak.
As in
the Tea Party.
Oh.
Like you see Ilhan Omar and fucking all these dum-dums and AOC in the U.S. right now, but when the Tea Party won, they won like fucking 40 seats.
Yeah.
And it was people that had like Michelle Bachmann.
Right.
And people like that who had no business being anywhere near a fucking election. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Crazy-eyed people. So, at any rate, that chaos can be important, but the point of this is, I don't think that, I don't necessarily want to say that Biden is woke, I think, or even playing to the crowd. I think he's just a fucking pussy, honestly. I think the left in general are a bunch of weak-ass pussies. But that's the point, right? The right is supposed to be a complement with two E's to the fucking left.
Right.
And pull it back in the other direction when it's being a pussy. But you can't do that if everybody's fucking crazy.
Takes a dick to fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, these people are going to be in office.
Yeah.
Or try to be.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, should be cool.
I mean, it's just turning into the Capitol from fucking Hunger Games, to be honest. And that was a pretty good book. Fuck.
I didn't read it. Just saw the movie.
Movies were good, too.
Yeah.
Anyways, next up, vaccine manufacturers make more per minute than you make in a year. Dope.
I blame you for that.
Yeah. 3 companies behind the vaccines, Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna, are making a combined profit of $65,000 every minute.
Ooh, that's fun. The average American income is $31,000. For those who don't know,
That's profit, not revenue.
Right. So that's after taxes, so to speak.
Yeah. The People's Vaccine Alliance, which sounds suspect, to be honest, but
Yeah, I'm vaccinated, and I'm not down with that. The name of that at all. That's weird.
it's a coalition for campaigning for wider access to vaccines. Estimates the 3 companies will make pre-tax profits of $34 billion this year, which breaks down to over $1,000 per second.
I can't even spend that.
You don't think you can spend? Well, I mean, here's the thing. I keep bringing this up. Spending Brewster's Millions, that whole thing, he couldn't have any assets at the end. You have to spend the money without anything to show for it at the end.
Right.
Now, I could spend $34 billion right now.
How?
What do you mean, how? The fuck you talking about? There's shit that you can buy.
Right. I mean, but you run out of things to buy eventually, and then to just actually spend it doing things. It's how, besides lighting it on fire.
I would go to space every fucking day.
It'd be tight.
I would be tight.
You know what else you
For
could do?
a month straight, and I would be on acid the whole time.
Buy 3 aircraft carriers, crash them into each other just to see what the sound is.
Or you could make an aircraft carrier catapult.
Yeah.
It's disguise it as a new type of technology. Like, look, we need to be able to launch these things out into the sea so they can't see them coming off the coast. Everybody knows it, man. And you make a catapult that's about the size of Rhode Island, right? And it just there's tsunamis everywhere because how much does a fucking aircraft carrier weigh? Because an M1 Abrams tank weighs 70 tons. So I don't know what a fucking aircraft carrier weighs. It's got to be 200,000 pounds or something, right?
Are they ever not
It's
in water?
99,000
tons.
metric tons.
God damn.
99,000 tons?
Here's what I would do with that catapult.
So you need a catapult. You need a spring on that motherfucker that's strong enough to fire 99,000 tons. It's got to be the size, I don't know, of Shaq's dick. Probably, right?
First of all, does that do more damage than a nuke? You launching that into...
So there's a rail gun that shoots a 65-foot long piece of tungsten, I believe, and it creates a 2 kiloton nuke yield, if I'm not mistaken, something like that.
Right,
Which is a small Without the fallout, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So a piece of metal that size, yeah, there would be some damage. I
guess
mean, there wasn't a warhead on the fucking asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. It was just a
Right.
big ass rock, man.
I mean, have we used that railgun yet?
On
no,
people?
I don't think so, yeah. Yeah, it's a fucking firing squad. 65-foot piece of metal coming in. You're like, dude, what the fuck?
It's just a building. It's
Like,
just a
come
building.
on, man.
I don't know if this is cruel, but it's definitely unusual.
Right. My theory for the catapult would be, the Chinese have that missile, or the aircraft carrier sinker or whatever.
Yeah.
They launch it thinking they're going to hit it, and then we launch the aircraft carrier at them.
That would be pretty funny. I mean, if we just started dropping aircraft carriers out of the sky on China, like, what are you going to do?
Wait, first of all, getting that thing off the ground, like, are they even out of water?
I don't know how you do that. You'd probably have to take it. It's 218,257,640 pounds, by the way.
Yeah.
218 million pounds, bitch.
How many do we have? Like,
How many pounds?
No, how many aircraft carriers?
A lot.
Like 12, 11, something like that?
No, we've got like 13 nuclear subs with Trident first strike missiles on them. So we got, I don't know how many aircraft carriers we have.
It's a lot.
Probably like in the
We have more
20s.
than the rest of the world combined, I think.
Yeah, because we can get to any part of the world with our
we
force.
we have 20.
How many are active? Because I think a couple are mothballed, but like ready to go. Like the Missouri was when they woke it up for fucking Desert Storm.
Probably about half.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, somewhere between 50 and 60% are probably active.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are these queers in the fucking chat would know, but I don't know why I'm so obsessed with catapults and trebuchets and shit. I just think it's ridiculous.
Playing a lot of Age of Empires.
No, I mean, not since I was in the Army, actually. I used to play that shit all the time when I was deployed, but in Total War, too. Those games are dope as shit.
I was going to say, we need to do a live Twitch one day of veterans versus cuck civilians in Total War or something like that.
Or a trebuchet building contest.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah,
dude.
I wouldn't be good at that.
That's a lot of work.
It is. But
Yeah.
it's worth it.
I mean,
for watermelons?
It would be funny if we just started, if we bought a piece of property right next to like a government facility and started building trebuchets and siege towers and shit. And they come over like, hey, what are you guys up to? Like, oh, nothing, man. Just
It's fine. Why would we try to attack you with medieval stuff? That doesn't make sense.
I think that's what we should start doing.
There's a blacksmith down there.
Yeah, he's like, ping, ping, making swords and shit. Like, hey, are you guys getting ready for something? Like, yeah, we are. Thanks for asking.
Don't you worry about it.
That would be really fucking funny. God damn it. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So basically, these three companies are making $1,000 a second.
Tight.
That's a lot of monies. A lot of monies. Despite receiving more than $8 billion in public funding, by the way. The three companies have refused to transfer their vaccine technology to producers in low and middle income countries.
Which, by the way, is one of the ways that would help, like, curb COVID
It would
even
end
more.
it. It
Right.
would end it.
Right.
Forever.
Yeah.
Right? If there weren't still these incubators on the planet where every time we reopen back up, somebody brings a new fucking strain somewhere, this would be over already, probably, right? Or we would at least be farther along than we are now. It'll never end. It'll be like 3 or 4 more years of little pockets of stupidity.
Oh, do you know what one of the main reservoirs of it now in the United States is?
Colorado?
No, deer.
Oh, shit.
They did a test. 80% of deer have active COVID cases.
Good for them. I mean, I guess you can't, they're not going to get it a second time, so hopefully by the time I'm hunting in southern Georgia
Right.
in 2 weeks, they'll be over it. They may still be wearing masks or something, but...
You would hope so. Honestly, any deer not wearing a mask deserves to get shot, so...
yeah, I agree with that. You guys talked about that on RPR earlier.
Yeah, it's self-defense.
At some point, it becomes self-defense, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pfizer released a statement in which they said they would provide their COVID-19 pill to 95 countries, which would include up to around 53% of the world's population. Provide. Not for free, though.
Yeah.
They're not giving shit away for free. Do this ad.
Yeah, we got Ghostbed. First up, ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. What is that?
Get the fuck out, Giorgio. Why did you do that?
The fucking
They're one
ad?
I hit the wrong button.
Ghostbed is not a sad trombone company. They're a happy trombone company. They're a triumphant trombone company. There we go. God damn it.
Make up for me and go buy Ghostbeds, please. Please, everyone.
Giorgio has smoked like 7 joints today. He has no idea what planet he's on.
He's been packing them pretty fat from what I've seen. Anyway, ghostbed.com/drinkingbros. 2 great ads right now. Or two great deals right now in this ad. I'm going to tell you about them in order of size of discount. They're both big discounts. One's bigger than the other. The first one, Ghostbed is doing. These are the best mattresses in the world, by the way. You need to get one if you don't have one for your next mattress purchase. The first discount, it's a bundle deal. You get 40% off if you start out with the adjustable base and one of their 4 mattresses, and then build on from there however you want. If you want more mattresses, maybe you moved into a bigger house, you got to replace some mattresses, whatever, just need pillows and sheets with it. 40% off is the deal at ghostbed.com/drinkingbros if you do the bundle deal. If you need to shop a little more a la carte, that's chill too. You go to ghostbed.com/drinkingbros, use the promo code drinkingbros, and anything you want, 30% off, whether you just need some pillows, you need like a mattress, but you don't need a bed frame or whatever, you need like 2 mattresses but don't need a bed frame, any combination of shit is 30% off at ghostbed.com/drinkingbros when you use the promo code drinkingbros. These mattresses are made in America. There's a 20-year warranty. You can finance them. It's like $35 a month, 0 down, 0% financing. There's nothing bad about this company. They make a great product. They're really good to their customers. They're really, charitable with their discounts, I guess you could say. You're going to get a very, very high-end mattress for a lot less than you should be paying for it with these discounts. So, ghostbed.com/drinkingbros.
The only thing you got to watch out for is sad trombone sounds, I guess.
Yeah.
They pop up from time to time.
Actually, you just got to watch out for Giorgio getting too high and coming into your
home.
Or
not high enough. I don't know. You say too high, you should just say the wrong
amount.
Level.
Yeah.
So
if you're out there and you want to make up for me, please go buy a Ghostbed.
To be fair, those buttons aren't labeled. It's just colors. It's like a fucking light bright.
Yeah, do you guys need some stickers or something?
I don't, no.
Dan doesn't, but I need something to guide me.
Yeah.
In the darkness. On the way to my Ghostbed. That all of you will purchase to make up for my sad trombone sound.
We're not buying you a Ghostbed because you're fucking stupid. That's not how any of this works.
Someone might.
Well, you're true. Or you're right. Someone might do that.
Someone very well might.
Speaking of stupid, and speaking of Pfizer, the FDA asked this week a federal judge to allow it to take nearly 55 years to release the data on Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine to the public.
What?
So the agency said in a court filing on Monday that in order to complete a Freedom of Information Act request for data and information on the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, it will need to process 329,000 pages of documents and can only do so at a rate of 500 pages per month. At that rate...
That's 329,000 pages. This is like 8 books. Right?
Yeah, basically. Right? Yeah. Well, not even... No.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking words. Either way, though.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. Yeah, but either way. At that rate, the information requested in this FOIA would not be fully released until the year 2076.
Great.
So this group of doctors from Yale, Harvard Medical School, UCLA, various other places, made a FOIA request to the FDA saying, we want the fucking raw data from Pfizer's testing to see if there's something weird going on. Mm-hmm. And this is what the FDA said. Oh, sorry, Judge, it's going to take us 55 years to do it.
It would take the Dodgers front office a month.
Yeah. It would take the fucking 16-year-olds that run the Chick-fil-A drive-thru 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I did some quick math on this. That's the equivalent of reading... I mean, I guess you have to parse out the data a little more than you would reading a book, but it's essentially 1,000 books, right? Okay. 1,000 average novels.
And how many people work for the FDA?
I guess 1. Like, it's a guy in a room, and he's like, I can't do this.
I read like 2 or 3 books a week.
Right.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah.
But
it's just J.K. Rowling that works there.
Fucking Leo Tolstoy. Lev, whatever. So the FOIA request, again, was submitted to the FDA in August by Public Health and Medical Professionals for Transparency. It's a group of more than 30 international public health professionals, medical professionals, scientists, and journalists that, quote, exist solely to obtain and disseminate the data relied upon by the FDA to license COVID-19 vaccines, end quote. So this organization was created specifically because a fuck ton of people in the medical community, and by the way, a third of the medical community is leaving the medical community because of mandates. That information was leaked this week as well. Are a little bit concerned about this. To be honest, from the data I've seen, I haven't seen anything that would necessarily cause me too much alarm other than if you're under 30, there's no way I would get a vaccine. Just no way.
Because of myocarditis or whatever?
Yeah. But for the vast majority of people who've received it, I don't think it's fucking dangerous or anything. I just, what's irritating, if you're
like fat and 56, you should probably get it.
Well, you should probably lose some fucking weight.
Also that.
To be honest. But yeah, both of those things. So again, the group includes academics and medical experts from Yale, Harvard Medical School, UCLA, which is a great medical school, alumni from the Trump administration, some of his doctors, prominent health experts from around the world. So it's not like a bunch of fucking Instagram fitness influencers.
Right.
You know what I mean? These are real doctors that are like, hey, give me that information. And the FDA's, they with a straight face said, hey, doc, it's going to take us 100 years, man. I don't know what to tell you.
That's pretty fucking bananas. So he told the judge that, right? Or they told the judge that, right?
In their filing, yeah. So I think if
some of this like, do they ever do this in legal cases where, obviously when they when someone sues someone in civil court or like a company in civil court, they'll ask for just a bananas amount of money. Like they'll make an outrageous claim, right?
Yeah, sure.
Does this happen in these types of situations
these
too?
These are two government entities. This is not a fucking negotiation.
Right.
If the FDA is incompetent enough that it can't do its job,
right,
which is to inform the public, right, and set policy, if they can't do that efficiently, you're done.
So, So my question is, obviously, this is on the surface a stalling tactic because they're like, we can't give it to you for 50 years. But is this like a legal stalling tactic?
Are you
where
asking
they say,
if it's gamesmanship or if it's malice?
Is it gamesmanship is what I'm asking.
Probably, to some degree, but you can't afford that kind of heat right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not saying it's right. I'm asking if...
The FDA, there's nothing classified about any of this.
Right.
Put it all out. Put it on the internet right now. You don't have the fucking right to keep that shit from me.
No.
Pfizer doesn't. We gave you $8 billion fucking dollars, asshole.
Right.
Where's my fucking data? You know what I mean? This is ridiculous.
But also, it's like self-defeating because presumably one of their fears, potentially, is they're worried about putting all the data out there and people drawing bad conclusions from it or incomplete conclusions or just lying about it. Or maybe there is something bad in there too. But maybe there's not, and maybe they're afraid of that. Maybe that's their genuine fear. But the problem is that doing something sketchy as shit like this feeds into anyone who would believe a potential lie. Yeah. It makes people distrust. Like, if you're withholding it to avoid creating distrust, you're creating distrust.
Right. Correct, yeah. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in a lot of ways like that. And Jacob Nickel in the chat here asks the question that they don't want people to ask, which is, how is the FDA able to approve the vaccine after going through the info if it takes them 56 years to process it now?
Right.
Did you read any of the data?
Right.
Before you made a recommendation, have you read it?
Right.
Because if you've read it, then you would know what it is. Maybe we should pass this bill so we can find out what's in it.
That's fucking bananas.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about being vaccinated or anything, but just tell the truth.
Yeah. It seems pretty easy, but the government's not in the business of telling the truth. They're a bunch of pieces of shit, which brings up our next sponsor here.
ExpressVPN. That's right, ExpressVPN. If you don't have it, I would recommend getting it if you, carry around a government tracking device in your pocket. As
Steve Austin.
Yeah, as Steve Austin called it. If you haven't checked out ExpressVPN, I definitely would. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like checking in your baggage at the airport without a lock. You think your stuff is kept private, but you never know who's going through your whatever weird shit you got in your bag, whatever weird shit you're taking with you on your trip, panties.
Well, what's his name? Snowden says this in some of his presentations. Imagine the weirdest, most fucked up thing you've ever searched. from one of your devices on the internet, right, or even received an error,
Right.
or from a friend as a joke or something, that now lives forever. And do you want the government cataloging that stuff? Do you want some private company to be able to do that to you? I would say probably not.
Yeah. Like, I accidentally joined a pedophile group chat, and I got out of there as quick as I could. But
You probably should not have said that. I've been using ExpressVPN on all my devices, though, for 3 years now.
yeah.
Relatively inexpensive. I think their typical deal, let's see, you get an extra 3 months free if you sign up for a year. So you basically get 9 months for the price of 3. It's $63 for the whole year, I think, because it's $7 a month, the last time I checked. You can browse anonymously, right? If you're using certain types of streaming apps that require you to be in a certain geographical location, you can figure that whole situation out.
Right.
It's easy to use, runs in the background, works on any kind of device. It's not going to work on like a rotary phone. So if you hit the chat and say, "Oh, what about fucking blah?" I'll fucking stab you. All right, don't come at me with that bullshit. But you want to keep your stuff private. If you're searching for hemorrhoid cream and sex toys, I like to do it as a joke. I like to go into fucking Walgreens and buy. What's his name? Aziz Ansari used to tell this really funny joke about he would go into the bodega down the street from his house and buy DVDs and fucking condoms, like in 10 packs both.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Why is this guy getting so many DVDs? But anyways, yeah, if you're buying stuff that's nobody's business, you don't want fucking people having access to that shit. Get a VPN. No. Get a VPN like an adult.
Also helps you get like Netflix and shit, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're using streaming apps, and they say, "Oh, you got to be," or if you're using, I don't know, probably you got a TV where you get blacked out,
right?
Certain places you can change it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can get like Peaky Blinders 2 weeks early because you log in with a British VPN.
Yeah,
that's really weird. And I can actually watch Houston Astros games.
I don't know why you would want to, but unless they're playing the Braves.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Either way, I've got an RMR, Chris, you piece of shit. Shut up. Anyways, ExpressVPN, they're one of my favorite companies. I mean, there's a reason you hear them on our show, on Rogan, on fucking Shapiro, on all these shows, because we all use this shit, because we all look up super fucked up shit on the internet all the time.
Yeah, there's what was that joke in 30 Rock where it's like they're take the thing off, take the firewall off so we can search porn again.
Yeah.
But there is there are writers' rooms for like big corporate shit like that. Well, maybe not anymore, but back not that long ago, where it's like, oh no, they have to look up this weird shit for work.
Yeah.
Like it's
so. Here we go. Secure your online activity today by visiting expressvpn.com/drinkingbros. That's EXPRESS VPN.com/drinkingbros. You're going to get an extra 3 months for free when you sign up for a year. expressvpn.com/drinkingbros. Get that shit knocked out and keep the government out of your business. All right. What's up next here?
It's more vaccine fun, but it's a vaccine prison riot.
Yeah, prison riots are, by very definition, fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a riot, man.
But it's like a contained riot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just go full-on South American style, where people are in prison, but there's no prison guards.
Yeah.
Just figure that shit out.
Yeah. That's how...
a hierarchy will develop. Things will go as they should.
That's to an extent how the Andersonville POW camp was in the Civil War. The Confederates just kind of stood on the walls.
Yeah.
And let shit get weird inside.
Hey, man. Look, the North was into some weird shit. What are you going to do?
Nearly half of all New York Department of Corrections workforce has yet to be vaccinated, and it could lead to a crisis at Rikers Prison, Rikers Island. You get a nice view of that from LaGuardia.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I'm, like when I land at LaGuardia, I'm like, oh shit, did this plane go to Rikers? Like, did we go on the wrong runway? De Blasio's vaccination mandate for the Department of Corrections is set to take effect on December 1st, sparking fears that thousands of the department's uniformed staff could be suspended during a time when Rikers is already overcrowded.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Dope.
Is Harvey still there?
We'll see. Actually, I think he is. We'll see if... So the vaccine mandate, as it were, through OSHA is now at a minimum, paused. But it looks like it's probably going to get knocked down because it's going. The first place it's going, or the next place it's going, is to one of the top 3 conservative appeals courts in the country, and it was on a lottery situation too.
Yeah.
So they really fucking lost that one, huh? Then it goes to the Supreme Court, and they're not going to fucking overturn the lower court's decision.
Right.
There's no way that the Supreme Court is going to overturn an anti-mandate decision from an appeals court. That's not happening. So they're kind of fucked on that. But that doesn't mean that public safety and healthcare workers can't be held to a different standard. That's always been the case. So this might be how it is now. I just don't know what their big fucking plan is. You know what I mean? If there's no nurses and no cops anymore, we're just in the Thunderdome at that point, which is fine, because I could do those things. Just understand what you're fucking asking for. That's all I tell people.
That does inform one of our later stories, by the way, which is pretty funny. The upcoming Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Man. Rikers is an island. How much stuff do they have to build boats out of?
There should be a no wood policy there, probably.
If that's the case, you're pretty good, right?
I guess. I don't know. The correction department was only they were only given until December 1st to comply with the mandate. So I think that here in 2 weeks, we're going to see what happens. They may extend it. I don't know. De Blasio believes the situation is going to work itself out. He's a very hopeful guy.
That sounds, yeah.
I think we have such a body of evidence right now. When a mandate goes into effect, overwhelmingly members of the workforce honor it. It's almost essentially the same pattern every single time, by the way, period. I think it would be fucking hilarious if all of these people just walked off the job. Right? Hand the keys to one of the inmates. Be like, hey, you're in charge. If anybody gets out of line, write their name on this chalkboard right here. Put a check mark next to it if they do it again. And when I get back, motherfuckers are in big trouble.
What is the pattern? If half aren't, another 25% get it? Probably. And then the last 25% is fuck you.
That's what the military was saying, too, because it was... or not the military, I'm sorry, the airlines. When Southwest guy was like, we're not going to mandate shit because 93% of our people have already gotten vaccinated. Why in the fuck would we mandate another 7%? It doesn't make any sense. People will get it or they won't. But this is 50%, right? People who know they're going to lose their jobs if they don't do it. And they still haven't done it yet. Maybe they're trying to buy time, but the federal court decision, or not decision rather, but the delay said that it's going to be delayed to a certain date to give enough time for these cases to be adjudicated. So I don't know how this is going to... Somebody's going to have to sue this particular jurisdiction, or at least ask a local judge or local federal court to re-express that opinion in this particular situation.
Right.
So I don't know how the fuck that's going to go.
It's fucking fun.
Yeah.
You know what is fun, though? Gambling.
I enjoy it, yeah. I like to gamble on things.
Yeah, and we do it at MyBookie.com. From all the biggest games to the smallest events, make every bet worth your while with MyBookie. Start by doubling your first deposit instantly with MyBookie's first deposit bonus. Double your money before you even place a bet, and all you have to do is sign up and deposit with the exclusive promo code Drinkin Bros at MyBookie.com. There are a lot of great games and prop bets to take advantage of. Prop bets actually have it's more likely you'll win a prop bet than a straight-up bet. So, get on those player props. Maybe bet on Dame Lillard to drop 35 or something like that.
Yeah. Any night he can go off.
Yeah.
Man, and God damn it, we'll talk about this later, but fucking Clay's coming back in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Excited.
Clay and James Wiseman are both coming back in the first or second week of December.
And the Warriors are already...
They're fucking destroying people.
Yeah.
Apparently, Gary Payton Jr. can dunk from half court or some shit. I don't know what the fuck happened. His dad was one of the better fucking defenders of all time. Perimeter defenders, but he couldn't jump like that. Holy shit, this dude is a goddamn animal.
No, Peyton was a tiny little guard that just, was pesky as fuck. But yeah, Drink It Bros, the code will get double your first deposit at MyBookie. There's also a really good game this week in the NFL. The Chiefs are taking on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are on a tear this season. Sean's happy about that. The Chiefs did work the Raiders, but it's kind of, not totally to be seen whether or not they're getting the ship righted. I think the Cowboys might cover. I'm not sure. This is a big week for the Chiefs. This is the Chiefs where they prove that they're not going to die. Now they need to prove that they can hang with legit teams.
I got to be honest, man. I think the fucking Cowboys are going to win this game.
You think so?
Yeah.
And cover? I don't know what the spread is off the top of my head. We'll talk about it on the next show.
Yeah.
But
tune in for sports right after this is over, because we're going to get into we're going to do college and NFL. We'll talk about the bets, but we'll see what the spread is.
yeah. But I think, you think the Cowboys are coming. I'll actually take the Chiefs, but whatever. Don't wait any longer. Head to MyBookie today to redeem your double deposit bonus with promo code Drinkin' Bros. And for those of you who've been asking, MyBookie.com is the same website as MyBookie.ag. You can go to either one. It's the same thing. Different address, same website. Don't panic. You're in good hands. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Next up, little fun China-American news.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, did you find that meme?
I'm making it right now.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I have it out to you in 15 minutes after the show.
Okay. We're making a meme about this now, but let's see. Xi Jinping, who is a Chinese dictator, currently overseeing 1,400 Uyghur Muslim concentration camps. And by the way, now there's video of them that you can watch on your own.
Yeah.
Very interesting how that popped up. He and Biden met in a virtual summit on Monday night, during which Xi made threats and appeared to troll the former vice president and current president.
So,
in quotations.
I don't know if you know this. This is a thing now with Chinese diplomacy, not just with the United States. They're doing some you might know the term better than me, but it's this wolf warrior diplomacy. Yeah. And apparently they roll into embassies and shit all the time and just start laughing at how shitty the building is or how fat the secretary is. They just roll in and are dickholes to everyone to just assert their dominance, I guess. And this is straight from the top. They're go in there and call these French people or Nigerians or whomever just dog shit. Just make them feel awful.
This is fucking Parks and Rec when the Venezuelans came up there. Oh, this is your park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. You should turn this field into a park.
Yeah.
This is the horrible pit you were talking about?
Yeah. So during the meeting, Xi Jinping referred to Biden as quote-unquote old friend, which some have interpreted as a reference to Biden's previous denial just a couple of days ago that they weren't old. We know each other, but we're not old friends.
Right.
Which is kind of the inverse of saying I've got a black friend. Biden doesn't, by the way. There's no way black people like him, right?
Corn pop.
He's not fucking...
Black people love Biden.
They actually do.
That's the reason why Biden got the...
How?
The nom.
How and why? After a fucking 50-year career of saying dumb racist shit.
I mean...
And then telling them that their blackness doesn't qualify if they don't vote for him.
Well, it's very...
the numbers he obliterated Bernie Sanders with.
Yeah, it's very Philadelphia of him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Bernie Sanders is a closet racist, to be honest. He just seems like the type. I've known those guys. Anyways, so this is really funny. During a press conference in Switzerland over the summer, Fox News correspondent Peter Doocy, who just basically trolls the White House constantly. He never does any real... he does some real journalism in so far as asking pretty funny and smart questions sometimes. But he's there, I think, primarily just to fuck with people and not necessarily to get any new information.
There's he's almost like a Sacha Baron Cohen character showing up to a thing.
Yeah.
Not as that ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's there to troll.
Yeah, Biden responded to Doocy by saying, let's get something straight. Here's the deal.
Here's the deal, money.
We know each other well. We're not old friends. It's just pure business, which is what a lot of dudes have said about prostitutes over the years.
To be fair, that is business.
It is business, yeah. Before the virtual meeting on Monday, Jen Psaki restated that Biden wasn't close friends. Welcome back from COVID, by the way, Jen. Nice to see you again.
What? So, did someone fixate on the close friends part? Old friends part? That she had to reiterate it?
I don't know why she would have done that.
That's deeply bizarre.
So before the virtual meeting happened, she said, this is before Xi Jinping said anything.
Right.
She said, I can confirm he still does not consider him an old friend, so that remains consistent. I don't know, maybe somebody asked her about it again.
Unless that's a sarcastic comment, that's if that was unprompted, that's fucking weird.
Yeah. So besides allegedly mocking Biden, which he clearly did, right? This is something that the Chinese do, for sure. He also made direct threats to the U.S., should they assist Taiwan in the event of an attack by China. He warned that the U.S. assisting Taiwan in pursuing independence, quote, is playing with fire. If you play with fire, you will get burned. China will have to take resolute measures if the, quote, Taiwan independence, end quote, separatist forces provoke, compel, or even cross the red line. I don't know what the red line is.
I got bad news for Z. We play with fire for fun every year to celebrate our country.
Yeah. The White House claimed that Biden stood up to Xi, whatever the fuck his stupid name is, over human rights issues and China's corrupt economic policies, but Chinese state media reported that Biden offered assurances that the U.S. would not support Taiwan independence or try to change the Chinese system of government. I mean, we're not going to try to change the Chinese system of government, but we are bound by law to intervene if China attacks Taiwan.
Right.
Like, I don't know if people are aware of that or not, but we signed a treaty to that effect. We'll see if it actually happens or not.
Treaties are flexible.
We break treaties all the time. Shit.
Yeah, is Taiwan the thing that's the let's get on kind of thing?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know yet.
Is that the one?
I mean, let's just fucking go to war, I guess.
I'd rather do it now than have my kid getting riddled with bullets on the Taiwanese shore.
Well, I kind of want to wait till we have that aircraft carrier catapult thing. Once that's done, then go to war.
It would be dumb to do it without that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I sent you a link like a while back where it's like Z really like literally has like half his cabinet in his ear being like, fucking do it, dude. Fucking do it. We need to just do it.
We talked about this at the top of the show. I think Biden's a fucking buffoon. 15th century term for
Black pirate, yeah.
He's an idiot. He could be convinced of pretty much anything, I think. Imagine if Dick Cheney was his fucking vice president and not Kamala Harris, who's cackling around the United States right now. If it was Dick Cheney and Karl Rove was involved somehow, we would be at war with everybody. Biden would be like, what?
Let's get it
They said what? Hell no, man. You think he's like a fucking dumbass, or think George W. Bush was a dumbass cowboy. Biden tried to fight an old man. He tried to fight a union worker.
Right.
And then he tried to challenge an old man to a push-up contest. For all the stupid shit that Bush did, he never tried to fight somebody while he was fucking running for president.
No,
man.
but didn't Trump try to also fight Biden when he was in office?
He just said that he would whip Biden's ass.
Yeah, he'd go down fast
he
and
would
hard.
beat him up.
I don't know about that. I'd like to watch it, to be honest.
I'd be down with that. I would actually like to see how well Biden could take a McGregor punch.
Yeah.
See how Irish Biden really is.
Yeah.
Did you guys see him just like pacing in front of his TV before the Max Holloway fight, shirtless?
Who?
Conor McGregor. Like a 20-year-old child has his shirt off, watching the UFC while his friend is filming him pacing back and forth shirtless.
I think Conor McGregor is a fucking pussy, to be honest.
I think he's literally off the reservation at this point.
Yeah, I think he's
bored.
It's not that's different than boredom. What he is in the same way that you and I need sunshine for vitamin D, he needs attention to feel like he's an actual human being. He's probably going to kill himself, to be honest.
Eventually,
right?
yeah. He's going to make so much goddamn money, he's not going to know what to do with it.
I would say sometime in the next 15 years, he dies either of suicide or some kind of weird like action sports accident or something.
Because
like
he's
that.
no longer accepted.
Maybe like a mob hit or something in Ireland.
Something dumb. He'll get in. He needs the risk in his life, so he'll get involved in something dumb.
Maybe it's just he sinks his Lamborghini boat by overloading it with chicks.
Yeah.
Has an orgy on it.
Yeah, or he talks about the wrong man's wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that shit might play in UFC, but you say some shit like that on the street and you end up like this rapper that just got clipped.
Young
Dolph.
Dolph.
You know what I mean? Young Adolf.
Yeah, who I learned today was Adolf and not Dolphin. I swear I thought it was for Dolphin.
If you that's one workaround, I guess. If you
Yeah.
want to name your kid Adolf, just like no, it's actually short for dolphin. Until they see the paperwork, and then they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
motherfucker, you lied to me."
Yeah, he's a dolphin.
How many times in human history have we retired a name? Like you're not running into Adolf anything, and you're damn sure not running
Judas.
into anything fucking Hitler.
Yeah.
Judas is the only other one I can think of.
So one time in high school, I had gotten suspended, and I had to sit in the principal's office, and like this is pre-cell phone shit. I had a cell phone, but not pre-smartphone shit. And I was sitting there, and they were like old yearbooks, so I was just looking through yearbooks, and I was like looking through a '98 one. And the only thing that cheered me up, because I knew I was in deep shit, was some dude who graduated in '98 was named Hitler with 2 T's.
Wow.
I was like, I don't think adding the extra T worked.
He was a stepchild. For sure. No, I guess maybe Lucif.
That's not a fucking name. The fuck is wrong with you?
What is wrong?
We know it's wrong.
Like short for Lucifer.
No, I got it. That's just fucking stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you're not going to run into like Dave Hitler.
Right.
Probably, right?
You would think not.
Or Adolf Paz.
I also remember when I was like a little kid, my grandparents had an old as fuck neighbor who was named Adolf, and I was terrified of him because I was like, I don't know that that's not Hitler.
Have you ever seen that movie, The Apt Pupil?
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen it, isn't that Ian McGregor? Ian McKellen, excuse
Ian
me.
McKellen
Yeah.
and Brad Renfro,
Yeah,
R.I.P.
Renfro. Yeah, well, what happened to him? Did he muck duck himself? Or drugs overdose?
Yeah.
It was because of Bully. That movie, Bully. Probably got him. Having to be around that weird guy so much.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Speaking of mental health issues, we have another ad.
Yeah, really good advertiser. I really like the whole situation around this. I think it's really like useful and convenient. Some people don't like to go to therapy. I'm sure you deal with that a lot with your veteran friends and veteran community or whatever. They think it's weird or weak. I don't know. Whatever. They just don't want to open up to people. Don't want to admit they have a problem. Meeting with a therapist to work on your mental health, though, is just as helpful as hiring a personal trainer to work on your physical health. And the positive impact can be just as life-changing. Talkspace, who is our advertiser here, makes it possible to speak with a licensed therapist right from your phone, tablet, or computer. So you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to, feel embarrassed about going into an office or have people ask you where you're going at this time. You can talk to a therapist anytime via text, video, or voice. It's 100% secure and stigma-free, the way therapy should be. Therapy, there's no one that... There are people that probably don't need therapy all the time, but there's no one that probably hasn't needed therapy some of the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's it's nice to have that available to you in a sort of easy environment. It's like going to a dentist or a personal trainer or whatever. Like, you don't need to do it all the time, but sometimes you might need to do it. And the nice thing about Talkspace is it's convenient, it's easy. You don't have to go somewhere. You don't have to set an appointment. It's all the benefits of therapy without a lot of the hassle of it, any of the hassle of it, really, aside from still having to have a conversation, I guess, if that's your biggest hurdle. But, Talkspace makes that easy and a lot easier and more digestible as well, if, again, that is your biggest hurdle. I'm, in love with this idea, and I have not used Talkspace yet, but this is the first place I would turn should I need to. At Talkspace, your privacy and security are the number one priority. The app puts you in a private room with just you and your therapist. You can send messages 24/7 and get replies throughout the day. No need to wait for a weekly appointment, so if shit's on your mind or whatever, because that is kind of inconvenient to have to wait to talk about something like you're in the moment a lot of times. And Talkspace's encryption and added security features keep your conversation fully protected. Whether you struggle with anxiety, depression, self-doubt, whatever, Talkspace gives you access to the help you need to move forward. Facing those types of obstacles is not easy, and you don't win a prize for doing it alone. As nice as that would be, getting professional help, it's not weird, it's not weak, it's smart, because, your friend might know a thing or two about electricity, but would you let them rewire your house? You need a pro, okay? So don't leave your mental health to chance or amateur advice of well-meaning friends and family. Talk to someone who knows what they're doing and can help you make progress. Join Talkspace today and start moving forward with a single message. Just visit Talkspace.com and you get $100 off your first month when you use the promo code DrinkinBros at sign up. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com using the promo code DrinkinBros. I really this is one of the things people shit on technology a lot and phones are ruining stuff. This is one of those things where it's no, this is a very helpful thing that technology has given us.
Imperial Girl just asked if it was something active duty people could use without it going on their record. Yes, that is correct. The government's not entitled to your fucking medical records outside of, their jurisdiction, for lack of a better phrase. If you're trying to hide an injury that's going to put other people at risk, they may have some recourse, but you're allowed to go outside for medical care if you'd like.
Right.
So, yes. Next up, By the way, I don't even let my friends in my house, much less wiring the goddamn thing. Are you kidding me?
No, you invited me over to watch the World Series, and you made me stand outside the window. And
Yeah. I mean,
through.
you can. I have 2 Bose 700 fucking subs. You can hear it from outside. It's fine.
I could, yeah.
You can just feel. You can feel the rattle. Speaking of my house, more and more Americans are rejecting strict gun laws. So, support for stricter gun laws or gun control laws in the U.S. has fallen to its lowest point since 2014, which was right after the
Sandy Hook?
Parkland shooting.
Oh,
in
Parkland,
Florida,
okay.
yeah. So this is Gallup, by the way, which leans about 46 points left. The poll results show that 52% of U.S. adults say they want stricter gun laws. In 2018, after Parkland, 2014 was Sandy Hook. 2018, after Parkland, it had gone up to 67%, wanted some kind of stricter gun laws. And I think people just had the debate for a while and then realized that there's no way to do it without giving the government too much control. I think most of the middle of the country. And then they started seeing the data like, well, assault rifles don't
Kill anyone.
Really.
Right.
Shit. Democrats still overwhelmingly support more gun control. Republicans is like 24%. Only 19% of all Americans support a ban on possession of handguns, which, by the way, account for about 69% of all gun deaths.
That is always the most mind-boggling part to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, no one needs these weapons, and they talk about rifles or whatever.
Well, it shows you that they don't really care about the outcome so much; it's about the optics. Which is
100%. No, I tell that it pisses people off when I tell them that. I'm like, no, you don't care about gun deaths. You just don't want to read about it.
Yeah,
like you don't. That's what you don't want.
Right. You don't want white children getting killed.
Right.
You don't give a fuck if black people get killed.
Right.
Honestly, you don't, because if you did, then the majority of murders that happen, which are with handguns in fucking black communities, you'd be doing something about that.
To be fair, they did get young Dolph with an AK.
Yeah. AK-74 though. Not a 47. Let's see.
Damn it, Nick.
No, he was right. He said AK.
He said 47 though, or did he just say AK?
No, he just said AK.
Okay.
Federal background checks for gun purchases hit an all-time high last year, with 21 million being carried out. According to analysis by the National Shooting Sports Foundation, NSSF, the change in support for gun control is thought to be a response to the increase in violent crimes and homicides over the last year.
Maybe there's data to support that, but I don't fucking buy that.
Well, there are some down ballot, I guess, or whatever the fuck it's called, data points that would support that. Like first-time gun ownership is way up.
Right, no, but the first-time gun ownership, that I don't buy that's from. Some of it is certainly from violent crime, but I honestly think a lot of it feels like, and this is anecdotal bullshit, but it feels like it's from the just general society getting looser. Do you know what I mean? Like things getting scarier, like a pandemic. And,
yeah, maybe.
And the country feeling less secure. And I guess violent crime plays into that, but it feels more political. You know what I mean? It's like people aren't trusting their neighbors as much, even when they aren't in a place with violent crime type of thing. That's the vibe I get. I don't know if that's fucking true or not. That, to me, that strikes me like it's fueling a lot of gun purchases.
I'm sure it is, yeah. The homicide rate over the last year has risen about 30%, the largest single-year increase ever recorded by the FBI. I mean, some cities are getting back to like early 90s level crime.
Yeah.
Violent crime is up by 5.5 or 5.2% rather. Not surprised. I mean, who knows why it is? All we know is that Americans are, for the most part, leaning away from giving the government more control. And you're going to see in April a Supreme Court ruling that's basically going to make constitutional carry the law of the land. And there's going to be further court battles and shit after that, I'm sure, to some degree. But, yeah, that stuff's kind of going away. And I think it could be a good or bad thing. Nothing is intrinsically good or bad, right? I mean, it's just kind of how it is how you use that piece of information or operate within that particular environment. So
right.
It's not necessarily good or bad. It's not necessarily a great thing that people feel less safe. But it's not a bad thing if conditions are less safe, because that's how that's supposed to work. You're supposed to feel less safe when it is, because that's your defense mechanism. Or at least it's what informs your defense mechanism to work properly. So we'll see how all this shakes out. It should be really interesting.
It's fascinating. And, the only, it could, it could go wrong. I mean, it could, if the only downside I see to more gun owners is if that increases the amount of irresponsible gun owners who get their guns stolen or something like that. Well,
it's gonna increase the total amount of irresponsible gun owners for sure. I don't know about the percentage.
Right.
But the total amount for sure, because that's just how math works.
Right. Because that's how violent like when you talk about like Chicago and, shit like that, like, and murders being committed there, getting whatever, those are illegally purchased guns. And the way they get those guns is by a lot of times straight up just like stealing them out of cars and houses from from legal gun owners, essentially.
Yeah. Let's see. The FBI has a file of over 2 million guns that have been stolen. Right? 60% of handguns, 22% rifles of all sorts, 17% are shotguns. The vast majority of all crimes are committed by stolen weapons.
Right.
Over 80%.
Yeah.
Are by people that had stolen the weapon. So, come on, man.
Yeah, the legal gun owner is almost never the issue.
Well, it'd be a whole different world we'd be living in if that was the case, because there's like fucking, 60 million legal gun owners in this country now.
Right.
It's like when people say that all Muslims want to bring down America. I'm like, well, there's fucking 2 billion of them, right? Pretty sure they'd be able to figure it out if they had any capacity to do that. At any rate, speaking of shitholes, California has set a new record for gas prices. Their average price in the state is now $4.68 a gallon, and that's for that shitty gas too, watered down gas.
The cheapest one?
Regular, 87 octane gas. According to AAA, heavy rainstorms in Northern California have lowered production of capacity, and that's trickled down to Southern California. I'm sure it's not the shutting down of 2 major fucking pipelines, right, that produce domestic oil.
It was rain.
Definitely wasn't that.
It was rain.
It was rain. This sounds like the Southwest deal again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, it was weather. And everyone's like looking around. What the fuck? The sun's out, bro.
They're like, no, it was in that part of Florida you weren't in.
Yeah. It's not on the map. So gas prices have been steadily increasing throughout the year as demand grows around the globe. The U.S., its oil prices have increased by more than 65% this year. U.S. oil production is 14% lower than it was at the end of 2019. This is a supply and a demand issue. When demand goes up and supply goes down, prices go up. That is the first thing you learn in Economics 101 in fucking your freshman year of college.
Yeah.
That's one of the first pieces of real-world information that a young person learns when they go get a secondary education. So...
There is some breaking news on this.
Oh, shit.
Biden is calling on the Federal Trade Commission to investigate whether oil and gas companies are participating in illegal conduct aimed at keeping gas prices high.
Well, of
the
course
FTC chair, Lena Khan, said Mr. Biden, this is from the Wall Street Journal, alleged there is mounting evidence of anti-consumer behavior by the oil and gas companies. So when they say mounting evidence of anti-consumer behavior, they mean more than usual?
Right. I mean, yeah, that's come on, man.
Right.
Really? That's your fucking thing? You've shut down 2 fucking pipelines, and you think, well, you've shut down one, and then another one's going to shut down. The oil industry is one of the we should really bring some stock market people in here one day and just discuss how volatile that particular commodity is, because the people that own those things own the oil production. Typically don't give a fuck about America at all, right?
Right.
They care about money, and they're not willing to take any loss ever. There's no baked-in losses or anything like that. They send oil, let's just say it's $1 a fucking barrel, or $100 a barrel. They send $100 a barrel to you, and then they think, oh, the price might go up a little bit. It's going to cut into our fucking 300% margin.
Right.
So we're going to up the price on the gas that we've already sent at that lower rate. So now the gas is upped at that lower rate already, and they're making more profit than they should. And then maybe they lose out, or maybe it dips and maybe it doesn't. But they keep that money either way. That's how it works. They fucking hedge within their own market. It is a completely price-fixed scam, for sure. And the only way to defeat it is by domestic oil production.
Right.
That's it. Like, I like solar as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
But if we can't fucking deal with reality right here, then we're going to be fucked.
Yeah, that was always a weird thing to me. We need to get into it, but when people were like anti-fracking, and I was like, what do you, like, have you read even like a paragraph about fracking?
Yeah.
Like, it seems...
We should definitely look into not having people's water be flammable.
Right, yeah. Or Oklahoma being beset with earthquakes constantly.
Yeah.
But...
We should look into that. I mean, nuclear power and eventually maybe in 30 or 40 years solar power, but we're not even fucking close to that.
Right.
We're not even fucking close to either one of those things. We're not going to be off fossil fuels forever, and not in our lifetime.
Isn't it mostly like energy storage and energy like transfer? Like we burn off so much during like
yeah,
different
that's
times.
that's one of the things that Musk is working on today, because it's going to be important for space travel as well, right? The more weight you have, the bigger, the harder it is to get in and out of orbit and shit like that. So one of the issues is we're trying to, and it's Moore's law, right? But it doesn't work that way for energy. For hard drive space, every 18 months, the relative size of hard drive space cuts in half. So if this is the size of 100 terabytes today, 18 months from now, it would be half the size to hold 100 terabytes, basically. Doesn't work that way for energy storage. That's a big problem for us, is being able to actually physically store the energy somewhere. That's why when somebody's driving a Tesla around pretending like they're saving the world, like, hey, where'd the energy in your Tesla come from? From the fucking electricity. Okay, cool. Where'd the electricity come from?
Jesus.
Oh, fucking no, man.
Because we really don't have a problem producing it whatsoever. Like hydroelectric dams produce an insane amount of energy, and then it's being able to distribute it on the grid. From what I understand, it has a huge tax on the grid called the duck effect, where during like the 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. hours, it doesn't have to produce that much, but then these power plants have to produce back up around 6 or 7 when everyone comes home and turns their lights on, turns all their TVs on. That has like a compounding effect.
That's why California uses rolling blackouts to control that shit, right? But you're correct. We're not even close, is the point.
But we're not talking about that at all. We're not looking into ways of like efficiency.
No, we just keep having the federal government give a couple $100 billion every year or two to companies that are trying to develop solar technology.
Right.
But that's not the fucking problem, man. We can make the energy in a clean way with nuclear very easily, right? We just can't store it enough in a small enough container. That is the technology that needs to be figured out. And we're not even close to that.
So more battery subsidies, less windmill subsidies?
Yeah. I would say that's probably
if they're gonna toss money somewhere.
Yeah. Speaking of money, some good news. You don't have to worry about the price rising for all your Thanksgiving needs. Turns out they're already sold out of everything anyway, so you can go fuck yourself.
Nice.
Here's what you can do. Take all that fucking toilet paper you hoarded over the last 2 years, get it wet and mold it into the shape of a turkey, you motherfucker. I wish the government would start getting way more aggressive with people. Like, what are you, some kind of fucking pussy or something? Learn to swim and eat fucking rocks.
Yeah.
That's my advice to people. Anyways, Americans have already faced the most expensive Thanksgiving in history, or we're already facing the most expensive Thanksgiving in history, but now they may not even be able to find anything to buy. During the first week of November, frozen turkeys were in stock at an average rate of 64% compared to 86% last year, which means you've got a 46% chance of going to a store and finding one. So I would use like Amazon Fresh or something, probably, right? So you at least know, or use, you can order AGB online too now.
Just go grab a turkey from Terry Black's.
Yeah, or punch a fucking turkey in the fucking face, dude. Go find a turkey.
You can go find, it's not hard to find a turkey.
Nah, man, there's some probably cruising around not far from here.
Yeah, just
punch it in the face a bunch of times.
I mean, Rob, you've never clearly gone turkey hunting. It's fucking impossible. Whenever you're actually looking for turkey, they never show up.
Yeah, I've seen a million turkeys.
That's because everybody goes turkey hunting at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? I go in the off season when you're not supposed to.
Actually, just take a shotgun to a golf course.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you might run into a gator too, but either way, a shotgun should be able to knock them out. Prepackaged pies, which you shouldn't buy and eat those. Pie, not only is it easy to make, but it's also kind of fun to make.
Right.
You should definitely not buy pre-made pies unless it's like a boutique place that's made them themselves and is selling it to you now.
Yes.
Because that is fucking poison. If you buy like one of those pies in the freezer section at your grocery store,
they're delicious.
They're delicious because it's chemicals to trick your brain into thinking it's delicious.
Well, would you get one from like the bakery section of a grocery store? Like it's fresh sitting on the...
It depends on the bakery.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if it was like like
a Central Market or something.
Yeah, Central Market maybe, yeah. Because I know hippies did it.
Right.
You can't trust hippies. What's it? Don't never follow a hippie to a second location. That's a good rule of thumb. But you can trust them not to poison you with anything other than like psychedelics.
Yes.
Which I'm fine with. So yeah, and that's the whole fucking point of America, motherfucker. We need the left. We need these hippie pussies to make that cool shit for us. Mm-hmm. But you just can't fucking make everybody think the way you think.
Everyone has a purpose. You just can't outgrow your role.
Every sperm is sacred.
Yes, I agree with that.
Pre-made gravy is down 12 percentage points, and cranberry sauce is down 10 points.
I don't care.
What the fuck is pre-made gravy?
If you're using pre-made gravy, you deserve to not have a Thanksgiving.
I agree with that, yeah. I mean, you can, I'm fine. I'm not so Italian. I'm not 0% Italian, but I'm not so Italian that I have a problem with bottled tomato sauce.
Right.
Like, that's fine, dude. I guess, I mean, I make my own, and it's really not hard. You should make your own. It's not that hard to do it. But you can't, it's not like you can make tomato paste. Do you know how long that would take you to make tomato paste at your house?
Yeah.
Forever. You would be there for the rest of time. But I do try to make my own tomato sauce. But gravy is the brown bits from the meat and the fat that cooked off of it, and then butter and flour, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's it. Maybe some beef broth or turkey broth or chicken broth,
whatever
depending
you want,
on the kind of gravy you're making. That's it. And it takes like fucking 12 seconds to make it after you're done cooking the meat.
Seems inconvenient.
Yeah. Just like you're flipping your fucking shit over.
Yeah. And by the way, with this next one, cranberry is down 10 points. If this is talking about canned cranberry, then again, I don't feel bad for you.
Canned cranberry is fine, I guess.
Yeah, fuck off, Rob.
You shouldn't. Well, you definitely.
You Delco trash. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my canned cranberry while I pick up my turtle pie from the freezer.
Yeah, you're taking the canned cranberry home from the canning factory you work at. That's why you like canned cranberry.
Yeah, it's gross, by the way. And I am highly suspicious that any cranberries are involved in the process, right?
Literally.
It just looks like some kind of red jelly. Although I do like the taste because I'm white trash. I like the taste the same reason I like fucking grilled cheese sandwiches. You know what I mean? But you should make cranberry sauce takes like 25 minutes to make, I think.
It's not hard or long.
Yeah, you just put cranberries in a little bit of water and then cook them a little bit, crush them a little bit, put some sugar on that shit.
Orange juice if you want something like that.
Yeah, a little orange juice at the end or orange peel is better than orange juice, to be honest. But yeah, you add orange peel until it turns into like a fucking jelly consistency and you're done. Tastes better.
Not hard.
Spreads better. Reheats. When you're making fucking turkey sandwiches with cranberry sauce and potatoes and gravy on top of it and shit, which you should do, by the way, because this is fucking America, and we add foods to other foods because fuck poor people, right? That's
mashed potatoes or no mashed potatoes?
Yeah, so it's bread, turkey, right? Yep. Preferably dark meat on the sandwich because it's a little fucking, but some combination of either skin and white meat or at least some dark meat.
You find it, you'll be not surprised to hear I'm pro-white.
Mm-hmm. Well, clip that, Sean.
Not sure. Not sure I would say it like that, but turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry sauce, bread.
No stuffing?
You can go stuffing, yeah.
That's just bread.
I usually do a layer of stuffing as well. No, but the celery and everything in it,
yeah. You can go stuffing too if you want, but look. All I'm saying is fuck poor people, all right?
Do you ladle the gravy over top of it and then eat it with a fork and knife?
No, I actually use when I personally make them, I do the gravy in a dip, like a French dip.
That's the way to go. Yeah, 100%.
I think it's just easier and less messy because whenever you put too much sauce on a fucking sandwich, you can't squeeze it.
Right.
Right? You can't go full You can't smash it down like a deli sandwich, right? Because it just goes fucking everywhere. And it's disgusting. So dip it.
Yeah.
Plus, I've got a beard, and if there's a lot of stuff inside, it's just it's like stuck in my fucking face.
No, I usually go Hawaiian rolls. I do the slider version.
You can do that, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It works.
yeah. Hawaiian rolls are delicious.
I actually like saving a little extra turkey jus. Like, don't put it all in the gravy, and then sometimes I'll dip the sandwich in the turkey jus.
Yeah, you can do that.
I enjoy that as well.
Or, I mean, look, I that's the jus is what you make the gravy out of in the first place.
Right.
It should be, right? But, so one item that will still be easy to find, by the way, is stuffing. It's gone up by 2% for some fucking reason. I don't know why. The best way to make stuffing, by the way, is to buy French loaves, right? And then leave them out for about 2 days before you're making the stuffing and cut them into cubes.
Yep.
Same thing with French
Breadcrumbs.
toast, by the way.
I was going to say French toast.
Yeah, same
It's
thing
the
with
best
French
way.
toast. Speaking of, well, anyways, supply chain issues are expected, and an unexpected spike in demand are a few factors contributing to these Thanksgiving staples. I don't know, what do you mean by a unexpected spike in demand for things that you only buy at Thanksgiving? How is that possible? Because is it like a COVID thing where they didn't think people were going to go back to their families?
So here's a question,
Maybe,
actually,
I don't know.
is wouldn't the demand be a little lowered if people are gathering again? Because you can't really buy something in single servings.
But I don't think people made like cooked turkeys for themselves in their fucking shitty New York loft apartment or whatever the fuck, or their studio apartment, right? Maybe, I don't know. Either way, this last one's for you, Giorgio. This last story.
I'm here.
So a doctor and an MMA fighter got into an argument over vaccines, and it did not go well.
The doctor beat his ass?
No.
Stabbed him with a syringe?
You're getting closer. So Russian MMA fighter who goes by the nickname the unvaccinated assassin.
Not to be confused with the
Vaccinated.
noted Austin stripper pole assassin.
Pole assassin, yeah, that's correct, yeah. The unvaccinated assassin had a disagreement with a doctor in Guam over getting vaccinated.
There's just so many nationalities going on here.
There's a lot of stuff happening, yeah. Akmal Koziev.
So when we're talking Russian, we're talking like on the steppe.
Yeah, he's. This is not a fucking Ukrainian man.
No.
He was having dinner with his own doctor, 44-year-old Dr. Miran Rabati, when the two men began arguing about the COVID vaccine. The Russian MMA fighter Karviev allegedly choked Dr. Rabati before stabbing him to death with a bone left over from a meal they were eating, like it's Gerard Butler. You know what I mean?
Good Lord.
What the fuck? So,
what animal?
I would assume it's a fucking T-bone steak, right?
Right. You're not doing that with a turkey leg, I don't think.
No.
I have a picture of this guy.
Please.
What'd you say about my mama?
It's like Russia mixed with Florida.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's wrestled an alligator, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So, Kazuya's mother and sister tried to stop the attack, so he did this in front of his mom and sister, dude. When the police arrived, Kazuya reportedly surrendered peacefully, saying, "Sir, it's me. I killed him." At least he's polite.
Yeah.
Shit.
He apparently had lived in Guam for over a decade, the victim, the radiologist.
Okay.
And Kozalev was born in Uzbekistan.
Okay. Uzbek. So the unvaccinated assassin was a known anti-vaxxer, even ran a social media campaign against the vaccine and mask. Guam authorities have since charged him with aggravated murder and assault, use of a deadly weapon, strangulation, felonious restraint, and family violence. And this just brings back what I've said for years, is we have to outlaw T-bone steaks.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of them. Too many
agree.
people are dying from
I agree.
T-bone steak wounds.
And honestly, that's just 2 steaks.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm kidding. I love T-bone steaks
Well, isn't it? It's the New York strip and the ribeye?
and the filet, right?
Filet. No.
Or the ribeye, yeah. Yeah.
Ribeye, yeah. So, I mean, just order both of those and get it without the dangerous bone.
I just want to, God damn it, man.
I'm in no way surprised that 50,000 of these people once overran the entire Roman Empire.
Yeah. They don't fuck around, right? Like it's. I just want to see. I'm tired of all the fucking courtroom footage. I have no more fucking time for this shit. I want to see this. How somebody. I don't know what the situation in Guam is exactly. It's too bad this didn't happen in Russia because everybody films everything always there.
Yeah.
Like everybody's car is outfitted with fucking dash cams.
Yeah,
and
go
shit.
just Google Russian dash cam.
God damn it, man. For one time, I want to see something cool like this. How heated did this argument have to get that he just fucking stabbed homeboy to death with his steak?
Yeah.
Right? In front of his mom and his sister.
And by the way, if he's eating a steak, he has a steak knife.
Yeah.
So he still reached for the bone. Do you think he was like, they were arguing and it was pissing him off and he started eating faster so he could get the bone separated?
This is what I need to know.
Right.
I need to know how it fucking digressed from like, hey, you know what, man? I really don't think people should be getting these vaccines. And the doctor's like, well, here's some evidence that suggests you might be a fucking idiot. Like, I'm sorry. The fuck did you say to me? And all the while, he's still cutting, right?
Right. He's still just like,
or at least,
what?
I mean, you have to wonder if the restaurant and wait staff are somehow responsible. If they cleared the table, right? If we were only dealing with dessert spoons at this point.
Yes.
This never would have happened.
Although, look, this guy seems creative. Maybe he could have cracked the top of a creme brulee and slit his throat with it.
I don't know, man. That seems like a lot.
It does. By the way, also, you can't just stab someone with, like, the intact bone. So he had to snap it, right? Like, he had to be like...
Oh, no. A T-bone you could fucking... I mean, so you don't remember that Law-Abiding Citizen, I think is the name of the movie that Gerard Butler was in.
Okay.
Where his wife gets killed by some dum-dum, and then Jamie Foxx is a prosecutor that gives him a deal, cuts him a deal, and then it turns out that Gerard Butler, spoiler alert, is a fucking lunatic that does crazy assassin shit for the government. So he murders everybody. He gets into a cell with this guy, and he needs to be in... for his whole plan to work, he needs to be in solitary.
Yeah.
So he orders this, hey, I'm holding somebody hostage. Bring me a fucking T-bone and all this other stuff, and I'll tell you. Right? So he eats the steak, grabs the T-bone, and jams it in this guy's neck about 30 times. That you could definitely do that. Here's what we'll do. We'll do some tests. I want all of you to go out and buy a T-bone steak.
Okay.
Cook it. Eat all the meat, right? Don't waste the meat. We don't do that here.
No.
And then hold it in your fist the same way that you might hold like car keys or something.
Yeah.
And then punch one of your relatives to death.
Okay.
And then video all that so we can see how efficient it is.
What about if I just do it to my doctor if I get a diagnosis? Like he's like,
The
"Yeah,
fuck did you say
we
to
found a mass, and I'm just eating a T-bone steak.
You go into the doctor and he's like, hey, your cholesterol's kind of high, which means you either need to address the cholesterol portion or you need to address the inflammation in your fucking blood portion. There's a lot of ways to do that. And you're like, look, doc, fuck you. This is America. And he's like, well, no, that's kind of stupid. And you're like, I'm sorry, what'd you say to me? I'm going to get my mom and sister in here to watch and then murder you with a fucking steak bone, motherfucker.
Apparently, he was working as a trainer at a gym until he was fired for threatening customers.
What was he threatening him for?
I don't know.
What could he?
They were just lucky there wasn't a steak there.
Yeah, well.
The Sun is like the only place I can find reporting on this.
What would he have done at like a gym? Just throwing protein powder in their face? Fuck you saying to me? It's like salt baying protein powder in their face.
You just blind them.
By the way, Jack's working on a video now called Pepper Bay. And he can't stop sneezing. I can't believe nobody's made it before. I looked.
That's pretty
Nobody's
incredible.
made it. Anyways, yeah. This has been a retarded episode. We've laughed, we've cried. I've pissed.
Yep.
And I've got to piss again, so we're going to cut this off and go do sports. We're going to do the NFL and college all
Together.
right now and tell you what money to gamble. I did really well in college last week. I did not do well at all in pro football. I was 8-4 in college. I don't remember what it was in the NFL, but either way, we'll be back here in a few minutes. Thank you for watching. Remember to go to drinkinbros.com/store. Everything's on clearance, 50% off until the end of the week. And then check in soon. Danny's going to post some stuff on social media about our Christmas drive for the kids. So till next time, we'll fucking see you in hell.